The elevator doors opened, and my heart stopped. Because my daughter, my 6-month-old baby girl, was crawling across the marble floor of the 47th floor. Toward him, Kang Siwon, the man whose name made grown men fall silent. The CEO whose empire stretched across Seoul, built on blood no one dared mention. And my baby was reaching for the hem of his perfectly tailored pants. His cold, dark eyes dropped to the floor, to her tiny fingers, now gripping the fabric of his trousers. Then those eyes lifted and found me. Explain. One word, spoken like a death sentence. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. My cleaning cart stood abandoned 3 feet away, the carrier I'd hidden behind it now empty. She'd gotten out. She'd never gotten out before. My voice cracked. I'm so sorry, sir. She was asleep. She's never. You brought a child. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. The temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees from his tone alone. Into my private floor. I lunged forward, scooping Mina into my arms so fast she let out a startled whimper. It won't happen again. I swear, Mr. Kang. I couldn't find a sitter and I can't afford. I stopped myself. Shut up. He doesn't care about your excuses. Men like him didn't see people like me. We were invisible. The ones who scrubbed the floors at midnight so his world could gleam when he walked through it. The ones who were never supposed to be seen. Please, I whispered, clutching Mina against my chest. I need this job. He said nothing. Just stared. Those black eyes moved over me like I was a problem to be calculated. A variable in an equation he hadn't anticipated. I'd heard the rumors in the break room. Don't look at him directly. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't ever end up alone with him. And here I was. Alone with him. On his private floor. With my baby in my arms. How did you access this level? The night supervisor, Mr. Park. He said the regular cleaner was sick and someone needed to. Park authorized this. The way he said that name made my stomach turn. Like Mr. Park had just made the last mistake of his career. He didn't know about my daughter. I hid her. It's my fault. Only my fault. Mina squirmed against me, her small hand reaching toward the man who still hadn't moved. No, baby, don't. But Mina didn't understand danger. She only saw something shiny, the silver watch on his wrist catching the dim office lights. She gurgled, reached harder, and then, impossibly, she smiled at him. Something shifted in his face. So fast I almost missed it. A fracture. A flicker. Pain. It was there for half a second. Then gone. Buried under ice. Get out, he said. The words were quiet. Almost strained. Mr. Kang. Now. I turned, stumbling toward the elevator, my heart slamming against my ribs. But I only made it 3 steps. Wait. I froze. Mina made a happy sound, completely unaware that her mother was about to either lose her only income or something far worse. His footsteps were silent on the marble, but I felt him getting closer. Felt the weight of his presence pressing against my back like a physical force. Turn around. I obeyed, because something in his voice told me I didn't have a choice. He stood a foot away now. Too close. Close enough that I could smell him, something dark and expensive, like cedar and smoke. His eyes weren't on me. They were on Mina, studying her face like he was looking for something. Or maybe looking at something he'd lost. What's her name? The question caught me so off guard I answered without thinking. Mina. Mina, he repeated. The name sounded different in his voice. Softer. Which made no sense. Nothing about Kang Siwon was supposed to be soft. How old? 6 months. His jaw tightened. That flicker again. That pain. Her father. None of your business, I wanted to say. But the words that came out were the truth. Gone, he left before she was born. His eyes finally lifted to mine. And I saw something I didn't expect. Not anger. Not disgust. Something that looked almost like recognition. You work nights, he said slowly. You clean buildings while carrying an infant. You have no support. It wasn't a question. It was an inventory. A summary of my desperation. I do what I have to, I said quietly. For her. Silence stretched between us. Mina yawned, her tiny head drooping against my shoulder. She was falling asleep. Right here. In the lion's den. Come with me. I blinked. What? He was already walking toward his office. The door was open. The room beyond was dark, illuminated only by the city lights bleeding through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Mr. Kang, I really should. I wasn't asking. My legs moved before my brain could stop them. His office was enormous. Cold and pristine, like a museum no one was supposed to touch. A massive desk sat near the windows, stacks of papers arranged with military precision. But it was the wall behind the desk that stopped me. Photographs. Dozens of them. A woman with kind eyes. A little girl, maybe 3 or 4, laughing at the camera. The same woman, holding the same girl on a beach somewhere. All of them old. All of them preserved behind glass. You're looking. I tore my eyes away, heat rushing to my cheeks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. My wife. The words hit like a punch. And my daughter. Had. He said it in past tense. My heart clenched. Mr. Kang. 7 years ago, a car accident that wasn't an accident. His back was to me now, facing the windows, hands clasped behind him. A message from a rival family, a reminder that even I could bleed. I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. The monster everyone whispered about. The man who ruled Seoul's underworld with an iron fist. He was standing in front of a shrine to a wife and child he'd lost. My daughter would have been 7 now. His voice was hollow. Empty. I've spent every day since then making sure the men who took them suffered. Making sure everyone knows what happens when you touch what belongs to me. He turned, and his eyes landed on Mina. Still sleeping in my arms. Completely unaware of the darkness she'd wandered into. I haven't been able to look at a child since then. Haven't been able to stand in the same room. The sight of them, he stopped himself, drew a breath. It reminds me of what I couldn't protect. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry, we'll. Your badge. I blinked. What? Your employee badge. It scanned 11 times this month. Different buildings, excessive hours, you're working yourself to death. How did he? Why would he know that? I told you, I do what I have to. You're running from something. It wasn't a question. My blood went cold. I don't know what you. There's fear in your eyes, he said, stepping closer. Not just of me, something else. Something you carry with you every time you look over your shoulder. How? How could he see that? I'd been so careful. New name, new city, night jobs that kept me invisible. And he'd read me in 5 minutes. Who is he? Nobody. Lie to me again, and I'll find out myself, and I won't be gentle about it. My arms tightened around Mina. Her father, I finally said. He wasn't a good man. I left when I was pregnant. He doesn't know about her, doesn't know where we are. But you're afraid he'll find out. He has money, connections if he finds us. I couldn't finish. Couldn't say the words. He'll take her, or worse. Kang Siwon was quiet for a long moment. Then he moved to his desk. Pressed a button on his phone. Cancel my morning, clear the penthouse guest suite, and send Secretary Han to my office. Sir, I started. He held up one hand, silencing me without a word. When he turned back, his expression had changed. The ice was still there, but beneath it, something sharper. Something decided. You'll stay here tonight. My staff will move your belongings tomorrow. What? No, absolutely not, I can't. This isn't a negotiation. He stepped closer. Close enough that I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Close enough that the heat of his body cut through the cold air. The man you're running from, what's his name? I shook my head. His name? Jang Doyan. Something flickered in his gaze. Recognition. Jang Group's heir. My stomach dropped. You know him. I know his family. I know what they're capable of. His eyes hardened. And I know what men like him do to women who try to leave. Mina stirred in my arms. Her small fingers curled against my shirt. You can't protect yourself, Kang Siwon said bluntly. Not from someone like him, not working 3 jobs and hiding in rundown apartments. So what, you're going to protect me? Why would you? Because I couldn't protect them. The words landed between us like a bomb. Raw. Honest. Broken. Mr. Kang. Siwon. My breath caught. His hand lifted. For a terrifying, electric second, I thought he was going to touch my face. But instead, his fingers brushed Mina's hair. So gently. So carefully. Like she was made of glass. I failed once, he murmured. I won't fail again. You don't even know me. The words came out barely above a whisper. But he heard them. I know enough. I'm a cleaner, a single mother, a nobody. You're a woman who works through the night to keep her child safe, who runs from a monster without resources or help, who stands in my office right now, terrified but still looking me in the eye. His jaw tightened. That's not a nobody. My heart was pounding so hard, I was sure he could hear it. This didn't make sense. None of this made sense. Men like Kang Siwon didn't help women like me. They used us. Discarded us. Forgot we existed. What do you want from me? I asked. There has to be something. Men like you don't just... Men like me, he repeated darkly. You mean monsters. I didn't answer. But my silence said enough. You're right. He turned away, walking toward the windows. I am a monster. I've killed. I've destroyed. I've built an empire on the bones of anyone who stood in my way. He pressed his hand against the glass. Below him, souls stretched out like a glittering map of everything he owned. But I had a reason, once, a family to protect, something worth being human for. His reflection stared back at him. Hollow. Haunted. When they died, I stopped pretending, stopped trying to be anything other than what my enemies made me. He turned back. And then your daughter crawled across my floor. My chest ached. Siwon. I watched her reach for me, watched her smile at me like I wasn't the thing people fear, like I was just a man. His voice cracked, just barely. Do you know how long it's been since anyone looked at me without fear? I didn't know what to say. Didn't know how to process the raw, bleeding wound. He was laying at my feet. This man, this terrifying, powerful man, was asking me to see him. Really see him. I'm not asking you to trust me, he said quietly. Not yet. I'm asking you to let me do this. Let me protect her, protect you. And in return, nothing. I don't believe you. A ghost of something crossed his face. Almost a smile. Almost. Smart woman, he stepped closer. Then let me ask you something. What? When you look at me, right now in this moment, what do you see? I should have said monster. Danger. Threat. But the word that came out was different. Lonely. He flinched. Actually flinched. Like I'd struck him. Then you see more than most. The air between us shifted. Became something heavier. Something I didn't have a name for. Stay, he said again. But this time, it wasn't a command. It was a request. Please. The word he was too proud to say hung in the air anyway. Mina sighed in her sleep. Content. Peaceful. Completely unaware that she'd just changed everything. Okay, I whispered. The first night was strange. A guest suite larger than any apartment I'd ever rented. A crib that appeared within the hour, along with diapers and formula and everything Mina could possibly need. He didn't come to see us, but I felt him, somewhere in the building, watching over us like a shadow. The first week, I tried to leave. Told myself this was temporary, a kindness I couldn't afford to accept. But then Jang Doyan showed up at my old apartment. I only knew because Siwon told me. He was there, looking for you, but you weren't there, and you will never be anywhere he can find you. He said it calmly, but his eyes said something else. Something that made me realize Doyan would never be a problem again. I should have been horrified. Instead, I felt relief. The second week, Siwon started appearing at dinner. Not speaking much. Just watching. Watching Mina laugh. Watching her learn to clap. Watching her reach for him every single time he entered the room. He never reached back, but something in his face broke every time she tried. And slowly, so slowly, the ice began to melt. A month later, I found him in the nursery. 3 a.m, standing over her crib. Not touching, just watching. You should be sleeping, I said softly. So should you. I moved to stand beside him. We watched Mina breathe. In. Out. Small chest rising and falling. She's the only piece I have, he murmured. I didn't say anything. Just let the words sit. I don't know how to be gentle anymore, he continued. I don't know how to be anything other than what I am, but with her, he exhaled. I want to remember. I reached out. Took his hand. He went rigid. Like he'd forgotten what human touch felt like. But he didn't pull away. Then let yourself remember, I whispered. She doesn't see the monster, neither do I. His fingers curled around mine. Tight. Almost desperate. You should be afraid of me. I probably should be. But you're not. I looked up at him. This man who owned half of Seoul. Who could destroy lives with a phone call. Who hadn't smiled in 7 years. I'm not, I confirmed. Something shattered behind his eyes. And something else rebuilt. Then stay. This time, it wasn't for Mina. It was for him. I'll stay. I learned the truth over the months that followed. About his empire, his violence, his enemies. About the blood on his hands and the lives he'd ended. I should have run. Anyone sane would have run. But sanity had left the moment my daughter crawled across his floor. The moment she smiled at the devil and made him feel again. 1 year later, I stood in his penthouse. Not as a guest. Not as a charity case. As his. He never said the words. Men like Siwon don't say the words. But he showed me. Every day. In the way he held Mina like she was made of stars. In the way he looked at me across a room full of dangerous men, like I was the only person who existed. In the way he whispered, late at night, you saved me. You and her, you brought me back. I told him he saved us. He just shook his head. No, I was the one drowning. Some nights, I still dream about that first moment. The elevator doors opening. Mina crawling across the cold marble floor. Tiny fingers reaching for a monster. And the monster. Becoming a man again. I used to scrub floors at midnight. Now I sleep beside the most dangerous man in Seoul. And every morning, our daughter reaches for him. And every morning, he reaches back.